Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I begin in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all and greet you with the Islamic salutation, Assalamu alaikum, which means may peace be upon you. For anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Fazil Khan, and I'll be conducting this program today. We are always so pleased to see so many familiar faces of our friends who attend our annual symposium regularly, and we are just as thrilled to see so many new faces here today as well. We sincerely hope that each one of you are going to enjoy your day with us today. Now, to start, I'd like to share with you a short story. And this story is about a man who didn't believe in God, and he went for a walk in the forest one day, and he walked by beautiful trees and a stunning river. He was just admiring nature's picturesque scenes. And suddenly, from behind the bushes, a bear jumped out. And the bear looked at the man dead straight in the eyes and started running towards him. So the man obviously ran in the opposite direction. Now, the bear eventually caught the man, tackled him to the ground, put his claws on the man's chest, had a ferocious look on his face, teeth protruding out of his open mouth. And the man spontaneously exclaimed, "My God, help me." Well, he heard a voice, and the voice was coming from heaven. It was the voice of God. And God told the man that he heard his plea, and he would grant him one wish. Now, the man was relieved and very grateful, but he still didn't want to be a religious person. So he wished that God would make the bear religious. Now, suddenly, he sees the bear's claws go off the man's chest. His claws come together. The bear's face has this peaceful, calm, serene look on his face. He looks up to heaven and says, "Thank you, Lord, for this meal I'm about to receive." All right, enough of my stand-up. Now, this story, I think, illustrates with a little bit of humor how religion is often viewed in very superficial terms. And it raises the issue of what can be done to revive the true spiritual basis of religion. And this is exactly the work in which the Lahore Ahmadiyya Islamic Society engages. The Lahore Ahmadiyya Islamic Society, which is the U.S. branch of the International Lahore Ahmadiyya Movement, works to educate people, those who are not Muslims, and in some cases Muslims themselves, about the true spiritual basis of the Islamic faith. And this work is international in scope. But one way in which we do this locally is by hosting an annual symposium devoted to a topic about Islam that is relevant to some contemporary issue. Now, in the past, we dedicated our symposium to demystifying Islamic terms and concepts like jihad and Sharia, words that had become commonly used by political pundits and laypersons alike, but oftentimes without regard for its true meaning. Similarly, with so much attention being drawn to the so-called Islamic State in Iraq and Syria, we hosted a symposium on dispelling misperceptions about the true significance of the concept of caliphate in Islam. When a popular topic in public discourse revolved around a science versus religion debate, we held a symposium titled "The Story of Adam, a Discussion on Evolution and Revelation," and we addressed from an Islamic perspective whether science and religion are inherently incompatible. Last year, with the increasing rise of partisan politics and the expanding culture of divisiveness throughout the country, we thought it would be appropriate to focus the symposium on highlighting lessons on civility and religious harmony. and share insights on this topic from an Islamic perspective and recognize persons who are engaged in some very inspirational works to help facilitate these goals. This year, with there being a lot of discussion about the sharp decline in traditional religious membership and a corresponding rise in people identifying as spiritual but not religious, we will address the connection between spirituality and religion from an Islamic perspective. Now, before we get started with the formal program, as is customary, we would like to begin with a recitation of the Holy Quran, and I would like to call my dear brother, Professor Hussein Ali, to please do the recitation and an English translation.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. I will recite one verse from chapter 49 and two verses from chapter 13, verse number 28 and 29. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير. O mankind, surely we have created you from a male and a female and made you tribes and families, that you know each other. Surely, the most noble before God is the most dutiful. Surely, God is knowing and aware. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. الذين آمنوا وتطمئن قلوبهم بذكر الله ألا بذكر الله تطمئن القلوب الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات طوبى لهم وحسن مآب. Those who believe and whose hearts find rest in the remembrance of God. Surely, in God's remembrance do hearts find rest. Those who believe and do good, a good final state is theirs, and a good return. Sadaqallahu al-Azim.
Thank you so much, Brother Hussein. Now, as a short introduction to the topic we'll be addressing today, there has been a lot of discussion recently about polls that show people are increasingly turning away from organized religion. These studies show there is a consistent rate of decline in the percentage of people who affiliate with a particular faith tradition. And this growing culture of skepticism about religion is especially evident among young people in America. A survey conducted by the Pew Research Center found that among millennials, only 4 in 10 people say religion is important in their lives. And this is even higher for those who are younger. In all, there appears to be about a quarter of Americans, 23%, who have given up following organized religion completely. Now, a variety of theories have been presented to explain this phenomenon. Some view this trend as a result of the scientific age in which we live, where people call into question the need for religion, which is viewed as stories of miracles of the past when they are living in a time when extraordinary technological advancements occur every day, where a Wi-Fi connection is deemed to have more utility than prayer, and faith in God is replaced with dependence on Google. Others attribute this decline with a perceived political entanglement of religion, where religion, or at least some traditional scriptural interpretation, is viewed as being at odds with certain social ideals people find important, such as having a passion for equal rights and fair treatment of all, where one does not have to maintain a belief in a chosen people or a preferred class of people, or having a conviction in evidence-based belief system where it has to do with evolution and the origins of mankind, or even issues like climate change. And still others argue this is simply a product of a culture of consumer capitalism, where, like almost everything else in their life, people get to choose what they want, including what faith means to them, rather than be bound by the established rules of an organized religion. Now, noteworthy is that although the number of people who've turned away from organized religion is consistently increasing, that does not equate with a diminished sense of spirituality in their lives. The trend of not affiliating with a particular religious tradition seems more to do with how religion as an institution is viewed and understood. It is in fact the lack of spirituality that appears to be what is missing by those who turn away from religion. Religion, unfortunately, has become viewed by many as simply belonging to a particular group with distinctive beliefs and engaging in certain rituals. So the trend to disassociate from religion seems to be more about a rejection of this type of understanding of what religion entails. It is not spirituality which is rejected, but the lack of spirituality people desire to experience in organized religion that they find missing. In spite of there being a decline in traditional religious membership, we see from various spiritual exercises that have become very popular in Western culture, whether it is meditation, yoga, etc., there is in fact a yearning for spirituality, some spiritual component to balance the materialistic daily routines in which we live. But what is the connection between spirituality and religion? Can religion, in fact, promote and foster the ideals of spirituality that people want to incorporate in their lives? As most of us can appreciate, spirituality is at the core of every religion. And what we will be discussing today is what spirituality means from an Islamic perspective and what the religion of Islam offers in terms of how to live a spiritual life.